supplies, but you need a place to track your stuff, cause you're so disorganized. You click open a web page, you heard about a critical role, and now you're ready to kick some butt in a mine shaft full of no's. It's D&D, D&D Beyond, yeah, D&D, D&D Beyond. You got your stats, you got your swords, and you got your invisible world. It's D&D, D&D Beyond.
Hello everyone, I'm Adam Bradford, General Manager for D&D Beyond, and today is Talk Like a Pirate Day. Ahoy mateys, I'm going to do the entire thing like a pirate. No, I'm not. I can't keep that up. I'm sorry. I appreciate you joining me today for the development update and community Q&A session. I am Adam, General Manager for D&D Beyond, and we're going to jump right in with what's happening on D&D Beyond, and then we will go and leave plenty of time for questions since I never have time for all of them. All right, latest updates. We're going to give an update on portrait frames today. We're going to look at portrait frames because that actually became a big topic this week with folks in the community, and we're pretty excited about the frames themselves upcoming, and then ask the questions. So, latest updates. Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus is available now on D&D Beyond, and it is really something else. So if you haven't picked it up yet, you need to do so. This is probably your next campaign. So wherever you are in your campaign right now with your home game, just know that this is going to be next. Or if your group is anything like the, I don't even know, hundreds of groups I've played with in the past, they might see this and want to do this and stop whatever carefully crafted campaign you've been having for the last 6 months. They may be wanting to play this instead of that. So if you're in that boat, I sympathize, but it is also really, really good. And I encourage everybody to check that out. We do have Infernal War Machines. So those are something that you can add now in the extra section on the character sheet. And then we do have the beta coming very soon for Encounter Builder. And then we also have a foreign language just feedback survey that we would like for folks to check out. And I actually have put Lauren and the moderators on the spot with this today. And so I don't know if they're going to be able to get the link there or not, but yeah, that would be really, really helpful if you guys could get in there and do that with the survey. It's going to help us a lot as we move forward into hopefully being able to provide some foreign language content in the near future. We want to hear from you, and we want to do everything that we can. So hopefully, yes, we have a link in chat. Thank you very much. Somebody, it was like I just put it out there and it just magically happened. We're making magic here at D&D Beyond. And so thank you for that, and everyone fill out the survey. All right. Let's give away a legendary bundle. Does that sound good? Let's just start things off right. You can say something about talking like a pirate, or whatever you want to say. You need to type something in chat, though. It doesn't have to be the word something. It needs to be some type of words or phrase, or, ASD, like whatever. If you just kind of slam your fingers down, that works too. All right, I have definitely delayed enough. We're going to give this away in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I like this username, Big-Hearted Guy. Big-Hearted Guy, you won a legendary bundle. Congratulations, Big-Hearted Guy. Very excited for Big-Hearted Guy. I kind of style myself as one of those too. So congrats, Big-Hearted Guy. All right, data update. We're going to look at the most popular portrait frames. So before we get into that, though, I would like to kind of, illustrate that we have actual portrait frames. I think that a lot of folks are not really aware of the fact that maybe we do have these and that they do exist. And so we are going to go to, let's go to this fella right here, Briv Steel Marrow. So we're going to go to Briv Steel Marrow and take a look at, oh, I don't want to go to Briv Steel Marrow. I forgot he's got all the weird, oh, we could do this though. We could do this. I could show you some things. Roll initiative, Briv. All right, I'll do that. Oh, wait a minute. I got a 10. That kind of stuff. So that's starting to happen. It's not ready for prime time yet, but we're going to be getting there. All right, so all of the styling's broken for Briv, though, as a result of that. So we are going to go with this fellow right here, Arlanax Munilev, Hobgoblin Swashbuckler. He probably talks like the pirate is what I would imagine he would talk like. So this is very fitting for today. But we're going to look at portrait frames. Now, I think that if we go to frames here in the menu, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you're going to see like double frames for me over here. That's because I'm in like every permission group imaginable. And so kind of ignore the double frames in the sidebar over here. But these are our portrait frames. And so we have, if you haven't seen this one before, animated mini eyes, the little eyeball will actually close and open over here. So let's see, let's zoom in a little bit more. Oh yeah. So this way we're getting like a really, really good look at these frames. We've got the animated fishbowl. So Silgar is going to kind of just float around your head with the animated fishbowl. And then, so we got planar. This is a very popular one we'll see in just a second. We got animated gears and cogs. I like that one. All right, so we got Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Oh, this is appropriate for Talk Like a Pirate Day. All right, so I wanted to kind of share. And so if you got Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, we also have one of these for each of the guilds. So that's also something that you can kind of sport which guild you're in. This one. So the last time I went to the beach, I saw these all in the water. Like we couldn't even do anything in the water. You'd go out to the sandbar, and if you looked, it looked like it was just like 30 swarms of jellyfish just waiting to devour you on the other side of the sandbar. So I got stung. Like one of the tentacles, I guess, was just kind of like floating around in the water, Stung. Didn't feel great. Lizard, I like this one too. All right, so now we're going to, support Liam, because, of course, you support Liam. You have to support Liam. Not that Sam guy. All right, so we have some really, really interesting ones, though, that we just did for Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. So animated hair on fire. Man, that's hot. You see what I did there? It's really, really hot. All right, so hair on fire. I came up with that name, actually. Chin on fire. I came up with that name, too. Chin on fire. The rest are named better because I didn't come up with them. So 9 hells. Ooh, that one's really smoldery. I like that one a lot. So that one's 9 hells. And then we got some embers here. Subtle, but I like it a lot. And then, some really pretty ones too. Filigree. I like that one quite a bit. So these are the portrait frames, and those are things that come at currently as pre-order bonuses, and they are things that we want to we want to ultimately continue to provide more and more of those. We are going to provide some of those for free pretty soon. So even if you haven't pre-ordered anything, you'll be able to see, be able to play around with some portrait frames. And then we absolutely plan on providing a way for you to secure portrait frames, even some of the older ones. So the pre-order bonuses will be exclusive for some lengthy period of time, and then you'll be able to pick up other portrait frames in other ways. So that's something that we're working on as well. Whoops, that was the wrong button. All right, so let's look at which ones are most popular, because we got this question this week as well. So the most popular portrait frames, Liam by a almost landslide here, which should not be surprising. It is definitely not Sam. Liam, so you can just see the results of the election right here on display, right in front of you. That planar one, very popular. Blue Gem 1 and Blue Gem 2 are representing. Golden Circle, I like that one. Big City's good. So then the Orrery, I didn't show you that one, but animated Orrery. Compass, animated gears, and cogs. So these are the top portrait frames right now. I imagine if we gave it a little while longer, that some of those really, really hot Baldur's Gate frames probably would be on this list. But we're going to continue to provide ways for you to further customize on your character sheets. Everyone loves their character. That's the reason that you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, because you love those characters and you want to engage with them, you want to customize. So those are things that we're going to continue to support. And these are really, really minimal things that we can do. And to be honest, we kind of look at these as, these aren't taking away, because I can see some of you potentially thinking that we're spending our time on these instead of doing some of these other huge rocks that we're trying to move. And it's not the case. These are really, really easy for us to do. And these are the kind of things that we love for our developers and designers to kind of work on, as a little bit of a breather in between trying to do some of the really, really major lifts that we're doing around here. So lots of fun, and we've seen a ton of engagement. So we know that folks out there really do like customization, and we'll continue to provide paths for that. So upcoming encounter tracker is something that we are working on next. Dice rolling is coming soon. AL integration is kind of on deck. Book releases. So now that Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus is out, we also have Eberron Rising from the Last War coming. So we have the content for this now, and we see what is going to be happening in there. And, looks like we're going to be able to cover everything in there, which is great. And then Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, that's also available for pre-order right now. And that is going to come with an adventure that is zany. I'll use the word zany. And then it also, we're trying to find a way to put the rule book as part of that, because it is just really, really funny. And if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, you're going to absolutely love it. So we're trying to figure out how to format it, because it's a very different kind of product, but it is going to be included, and you'll get the text and images from that as well in that purchase. So you can pre-order that now. I also wanted to, while I was here, I forgot to do this. So let's look at some, let's go back to my buddy here, Arlanax. All right, so Arlanax, we're going to also try to add some vehicles here, hopefully. So in the extra section, I'm going to manage those. And I'm going to do a vehicle. All right, so now I can add some of these Infernal War Machines that were available in Descent into Avernus, and you can kind of preview them here. We've even got the little weird infernal twisted metal Mad Max stat block going on here, so you can add that to your character. And then you can see over here that the Devil's Ride is available. You can see its stat block, you can adjust its hit points, and fuel management, so that's here as well. And then any exhaustion that the vehicle has. So this is something, as you're playing through Descent into Avernus that I encourage you to leverage that extra section where you don't have to do as much flipping back and forth, maybe. So yeah, all of that is upcoming. And then I believe that, yes, we are to the question time, and I've left 40 minutes for that. So we're going to see as much as we can get through with our questions today after a quick swig of this flavored water. All right. Now, questions. Hopefully you've been asking them. I bet you have been. There are so many that I can't even scroll through at the moment. Okay, so here we go. So this one is from Obo Crazy. I feel like I know her. So with Obo Crazy, so how did Briv enjoy being an Unearthed Arcana subclass on Heroes of the Veil yesterday? Briv is... Oh, you don't see it? Oh no, we don't see it. Hold on one second. The voice in my head told me that we don't see it. Oh no. I just did a bad. The magic is gone. Oh no. All right. So, unfortunately, because I don't know what I'm doing, I have just removed all of your questions that you've asked so far. So, that's on me. That's completely on me. So I am sorry about that. So we're going to try that again. So if you've already asked a question in the stream, using the word question to preface it, then that means that I no longer have that. And I would like to ask that you maybe ask that question again, or we can then capture it. Because I don't have it anymore because I hit the wrong button. So totally my fault. Sorry about that. Hopefully you'll all forgive me. But if you've already asked a question, please ask it again. Let's see if this works now. Do we have that? Okay. So it's working now. So ask them and I will definitely get to them. Sorry about that. If, I ever see you at a convention and I erased your question on accident, just let me know and I will, try to find some kind of recompense for that. Aragorn 66J, will there be a way to use DDB character sheet in portrait mode? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by this because, yeah, I don't know if I know exactly what you mean because different screen sizes, everything should be adjusting to your screen sizes. If you mean portrait, like from the standpoint of like getting it all in a in like a single tablet or something like that, I know that it'll work currently for an iPad Pro. So maybe if you want to follow up with something that I might be missing there, everything should be adjusting to the proper screen sizes. Lel, what is the idea behind the DM screen? There are all kinds of ideas behind the DM screen. I think I would argue that a lot of ideas are there. The Dungeon Master sits there. Typically, there are notes there. Oh, that's probably not what you mean. That's probably not what you mean. I imagine you mean the digital DM screen that is on our roadmap. And the truth is, we don't know exactly everything that is going to be in that from an idea perspective, because that is something that we're targeting for the future and something that we will really dig into as we get there. But some of the concepts that we've thrown out so far is the ability for you to have a place that is customizable and rearrangeable. That's not a word. That will allow you to pull in rules and references and the things that you think that you would need for your game. So that's kind of the idea behind that. You can buy a DM screen. I was trying to look around to see if I had one, but you can buy a physical DM screen and whatever's on the inside of that is a static thing that you can't really update or adjust unless you buy one of those really, really fancy ones. But we want to just simply provide a digital version of that. Now, some folks think that a DM screen is more akin to what we are going to do with our session manager with encounter tracking and all that. So that's also something that we're doing, but we're not necessarily bucketing that or identifying that as DM screen. A new guy probably. Is Mystic still coming out in 5e? I do not have any details that I can share about that. That's going to be on Wizards of the Coast. I believe that we're starting to see some psionic focus out there. And so, as a fan, I am a big fan of the Scion or the Mystic or whatever it ends up being called, because telekinesis is my favorite superpower. So I hope that it happens at some point, but I don't have any details. Benet UK, it's my birthday tomorrow. Can I get some cool frames for characters? That's tomorrow. You're going to have to hit me up tomorrow. Like, if it happened to be today, perhaps. But, it's tomorrow. So it's just kind of out of luck, I guess. Sorry about that. We'll see what we can do. Lunchbox McGee with an O, 0. Will AL content be included at some point in Adventures? We absolutely plan to do that, but we are not ready to talk about exactly when or how that's going to happen. Mars Million, if you could play in a setting that you have not played in, what would be the setting and why? D&D setting related. That's interesting. So it's a setting that I have not played in. See, I don't know if there is a D&D setting that I haven't played in. Now, if you mean, so let me take the question this way. Setting that I haven't played a character in, I have dungeon mastered every setting that I know about anyway, official anyway. So something that I have not actually played in, I would love to play in Dark Sun, because when I'm really thinking about it, I've never played a character in Dark Sun. I have always dungeon mastered. So I would love to play in Dark Sun. Big fan of Dark Sun anyway, and big fan of the aforementioned psionics. So I would definitely like to play in Dark Sun. Oops. Repeat, sorry about that. Saute Monkey 77. Will players' handbook backgrounds be updated to have the Baldur's Gate of Avernus variant? Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I remember that. So at this point in time, we've chosen not to do that because of some of the confusion that could cause, and because you are able to create those backgrounds either through homebrew means, which is a longer path, and I don't recommend it, or just right within the character, you can start with an acolyte, and then you can change that depending on what you want from that. And so that's something that you have a path to be able to do it, and we haven't chosen to support that yet because of bandwidth, but it is something that we would like to do at some point in the future. Vaxum, how about developing some musical remixes of the DDB intro? Big band, funk, country, other. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get on that. Lilel, what is the idea behind the DM screen? Oh, sorry. That was, I think there might be some duplicates because I messed up. So we'll get through the duplicates. Alt F4 will help. Will we be able to create and add our own portrait frames, maybe with a curated homebrew area for sharing with the DDB community? That sounds like a very interesting idea that I can't answer yet. Leo Incendia, where is the sweet tea? I am suffering right now. Typically what I try to do is I try not to because I'm trying to, one of these days get back into fighting shape a little bit. One of these days, I'm sure it's going to happen. Just kind of passively happen one of these days. But I'm trying not to drink sweet tea at least before lunch now. So it's like lunchtime here right now. So during these dev updates, my stomach just continually growls. I'm surprised that the microphone doesn't pick it up because I don't eat breakfast. And so I will leave here and then go eat somewhere. And when I do that, there will definitely be sweet tea involved. If the restaurant doesn't have sweet tea, I don't go there. So it'll definitely be involved. Batuga, will we be able to add our own custom character sheet background pictures in the future? So these can kind of all be combined into our own themes, our own character backgrounds, our own portrait frames. I can tell you that themes and portrait frames are a little easier to implement. The frames are a little bit harder because they require some positioning and so on through CSS and that kind of configuration. So portrait frames a little bit harder, but definitely something that we are looking at, and I imagine at some point we will see. H. Gilham, will there be an update to the app to allow character creation? That is something that we are really looking at for the app. So the initial step would be we want to get the character sheet available in the app, and then we will potentially look at adding character creation after that. We are really getting to a point with mobile app development where we understand that feature parity is probably not a goal that is realistic and probably not something that we are going to even want to invest in. And so with the mobile app, we are starting to look for ways to leverage the mobile app. And by the way, when I say we're starting to look at these ways, you're not seeing any of the results of this yet out in the community. But this is the discussion that is happening internally that's driving the strategy going forward. We want mobile development to really take advantage of the platform and the format. And so we do believe that mobile is going to be, very player focused. It's going to be very centered around the sheet and some of the other convenience things that we're going to be giving to players. And so I do imagine character creation will happen at some point there, but I don't know the full breadth of everything that we're going to be doing because we're trying to be more realistic with what we're biting off with mobile as we go forward and as some new resources come in to start working on it. Sir Digby Chicken Caesar. I made up a lot of those letters. It might be Sir Digby 13. AI roles incoming to the character sheet soon. I'm assuming that you're talking about like the Documancer and whatever those other silly things are. Sorry, I had a conversation with Jerry about that last time I talked to him. And so we do have that on the list. It is not highly prioritized at this point in time because we do feel like there are some bigger fish to fry, but we want to eventually get to a place where we have a system that will handle this ad hoc new rule content that kind of randomly comes from some of the new books going forward. So it is absolutely on the list, and you will see it at some point. I don't know exactly when. Haley, maybe. Sorry, there's a big difference potentially between those two. So I'm going to go with Haley. Maybe that's right. It's my 30th wedding anniversary. Can I get a discount code? Wow, 30th wedding anniversary? That is a long time. I feel like I've been married a long time. I think I've been married 18 years, 19 years, maybe 18 or 19. Yeah. 18 years. Been married 18 years, but 30 is huge. So, I don't do this frequently, but 30 is such an amazing thing. And marriage is sometimes hard, and it's sometimes beautiful, and it's sometimes wonderful, and all those things rolled up into one. So let's give Haley or Hagley a legendary bundle. Congrats. It's your 30th winning anniversary legendary bundle. Don't everybody just start making up stuff now. This isn't going to happen all the time. You feel like you can just. I hope, Haley, it is actually your 30th anniversary, and that you are, and that you're not just pulling my leg. But yes, congratulations. Let's get you a legendary bundle. The okayest GM. I think you're better than okay. I really, don't sell yourself short. Can we get advantage and disadvantage icons on the skill list, like how it shows up on initiative, please? Yes. I'm like gonna almost like just look out here. Nobody's there. Where did everybody go? I don't know. Nobody's out at their seats right now. Hopefully they're in a meeting somewhere. But wherever you are, yes, we need to make that happen. Absolutely. It's something that is on the list. We'll see as a quality of life change that would be super simple to implement. We'll see if we can squeeze that in between some of those bigger rocks. Lord Ravenloft. Can we have a list of short description of each developer team working list and short description of each developer team working on D&D Beyond? Yeah, I can do that real quick. So we have 3 teams currently. Well, 4 teams currently. Well, wait, 3 teams currently. 1 team is transitioning in October to work on D&D Beyond. And right now they are organized around different parts of the platform. So we've got characters team, which is dealing with character management. That's the team that I'm going to see if we can squeeze in some, advantage, disadvantage on skills. So they handle everything with the character sheet, character builder, the character service, the eventual character API and everything else. That's on the characters team. And then we have the challenges team, which has created the encounter builder. They also are the team that when they initially came in, they weren't called the challenges team, but they created the Twitch extension. And so they are working with the encounter building, the encounter tracking and session management that is upcoming, and then eventually a monster builder and everything else that's going on there. So they are associated with anything that is challenging or being a threat to the player characters and that team. And then we have a content and commerce team that works on a lot of other kitchen sink things, which actually, being perfectly transparent, has been a little bit of an issue because when you're the kitchen sink, you end up catching a lot of things. The team's done admirably with that. But they work on a lot of everything else. So they are the team that implemented Google authentication earlier this year. They're the team that brought the first pass of content management. They're the team also that, as we have mentioned, we'll have more details on this very soon, but we are going to have to start collecting taxes before too much longer because we're going to get in trouble if we don't. And so that is the team that is working on that. They're also going to be the team that is going to be working on some new marketplace options as we go into next year that might include some other really, really interesting things that you can pick up to further customize your character. So that team really is a grab bag and is doing a lot of different things. And so we're looking we're looking into all of that. So, and then the 4th team that is going to transition over in October is a mobile app development team that is going to be focused on, again, really doing more with our mobile strategy and making that better. And that team is actually located in Poznan, Poland, and they are I've been really impressed so far with all the engagement. So I'm really, really looking forward to working with that team as well. And then we just continue to grow. So I'm pretty sure that we've got another full team that's going to be coming over within the next month or two. So we're finding how they're going to be able to have the biggest impact and value as well. Hopefully that answered the question. Abyssin 13, why doesn't the currency section not create change when you remove smaller coins? For example, I remove 8 silver when I have 1 gold. It doesn't automatically give me 2 silver and take away the gold. Yeah, because we just haven't done that yet, is the reason that it doesn't happen. At this point in time, kind of our guiding principle for the parts of any game management that we have not been able to get to and really focus on and make more convenient through the technology, our minimum viable is we need to at least provide an option that is as easy as doing it on a paper sheet. So that's where we have to start. And so right now with coins, you can record them just like you can on a paper sheet. Naturally, the digital platform lends itself to doing much more with that. I think that's something that we would see in an eventual, I don't know if I should say eventual so much anymore, eventual inventory management enhancements that we have planned. And so since I let that slip a little bit, I will say that kind of emerging in that on deck area for the characters team that I mentioned earlier, we're starting to talk about inventory management. So really excited about that there. And maybe we can hit with some convenience for currency in that area, as we're under the hood there. Shadzar, why not allow people to upload their own PNG or GIF to customize their frames? As I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to say it's off the table for the future, but placement and all of those kind of things are difficult. So, for instance, if you really go through and start changing your portrait frame, you'll see that the image for your characters like bouncing around to different places. That's all positioning that has to happen for everything to look right. But again, not saying that it's off the table for something in the future. Pit Viper RMS, will we be able to have open access to the dev update charts that you show us here, maybe even updated? We're kicking some things around there. Nothing I can talk about yet, but we're definitely talking about some options. Aggie Bear, for those of us that have bought the Platinum Edition that came with a D&D Beyond code for the Descent, can we get the pre-order frames? We did kind of pre-order it. You're actually supposed to. So if that's not happening, then... to be specific here, this is referring to Beetle and Grimm's Platinum Edition. It has a D&D Beyond pre-order code in it. If you're not getting those yet, that is something that we did commit to, even with my buddy Matt over there at Beetle and Grimm's. So, yeah, if that's not happening, we will rectify that situation. I'm trying to make a note of it, actually, to make sure that I follow up. I've done project, product, program, management, PM, everything in my past. So I got to take these notes. So Beetle and Grimm pre-order frames. Note taken. And let me set a reminder, or the note will never matter. All right, we'll look into it if it's not happening already. SJ Hots, will UA be released as an actual source book in the future, or just stay available as rules? Right now, it's just available as rules. Wizards of the Coast wants to make sure that it is clear that UA is playtest content. It's important that you get to use it on D&D Beyond. That part is definitely important. And so we were able to talk them into letting us use it here because, all of you asks over and over and over to have that content available, but they're not going, well, let me rephrase. I don't know exactly what they would do in the future, but there are no current plans for them to collect those as a source. They collect them into actual published books is kind of their strategy and what they do there. But yeah, you should see the new Paladin and Bard subclasses on Monday because our commitment is and our arrangement with Wizards of the Coast is to make that available the Monday following a release. So you should be seeing that on Monday. And I am very partial to the Paladin with the Oath of Heroism. I'm a big fan of that one, especially. Lunchbox McGee, are there any updates to music being included in adventures or made available to add in by DMs? No updates, but it is something that we are looking into. Soju Drama Queen, will there be a way to more fully integrate the AI roles into the characters? Not at this point in time, but it is on the list. Ubba Crazy, so with Briv, the Paladin of Heroism, how did that happen and how do you like it? It happened because our Dungeon Master Todd said that you are going into an apparatus. I'm not making this up. This is what actually happened. That you're going into an apparatus and you come out and you can be entirely changed. And we kind of expect that to happen for at least several of the characters. And so then I was like, well, I like paladins and I think that it would be funny. And if you actually watch the episode, I don't think folks really realized it, but if you actually watch the episode, Briv was not nearly like he was not silly. He was not, he was much more serious as this incarnation of Briv and less of, maybe a, I can't think of a word right now that is PG-13 that I can say here, but less of just a mean, not so fun to be around guy. We'll say that. So basically, it's fundamentally, this is a version of that character that was out in the multiverse that has been a little more buttoned up, we'll say, than Briv previously was. So I'm going to play out that path and see what happens. Zobberfang, does D&D Beyond have a data scientist? Do they want one? So we do not have a dedicated data scientist at this point in time. We definitely have business analysts that work with data, but we do not have what I would consider to be a data scientist. And yeah, keep an eye out. We'll see. We're definitely talking about it. Benet UK, as you're doing the Rick and Morty adventure, is it possible to get the adventure from the D&D Rick and Morty comic book? I am not familiar with that. I have not caught up on the comic yet. I collect into trade paperbacks and then read digitally on the comics. So I haven't read all of Rick and Morty yet. So I'm not familiar with an adventure in the comic, but if there is one, we can certainly check into it. Earlio Dookie, any updates on API access? No updates, but it will happen. Jutzor, can we get a dark mode? At some point, I imagine we will. Professor Nightshade, is there a discount code currently for purchasing content from the marketplace? I am not sure. Somebody could probably tell you in chat if there is. Apollo 7991, what is your opinion of the I Play D&D wrestling gimmick on Twitter? I think that guy has done an epic job of doing his job as a heel in wrestling. I think that he has poked all the right buttons, and I love how out of sorts everybody's getting, because that was exactly his goal, and he has accomplished that in spades. And to be honest, I don't know him personally, but I bet that guy loves D&D, or if he doesn't, I bet he would actually love to play it. But man, he really did. He really did send people spiraling, and I love it. Aragorn 66J, will there be a way to use DDB character sheet in follow up? Thank you for the follow up. Is there a default resolution on a tablet? So I know that it works in portrait up to 1024. It should. And then I think we start breaking it under 1024, and then we break again at 768. So again, like with the question, I hate to ask for another follow up, but I guess I'm ultimately trying to understand what your goal is. But you should be able to, on an iPad, for the most part anyway, see the full character sheet on the iPad. If there's another strange size out there, then definitely bring that up on the forums, and then we can see what we can do about it. SJ Hots, are there any plans for Fantasy Grounds integration? It kind of depends on what that is. There are some really great things in the community that I've seen where people have started integrating things with Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds. Love Doug and the crew at Fantasy Grounds, and so we'll see what the future holds. There are no current plans for any of that. Lord Bunnybone, are there any plans to add more Critical Role stuff to D&D Beyond? I believe that we would at some point, and it's kind of just depending on when Matt thinks that material is sufficiently play tested and ready for prime time. So we'll keep that going. All right, so King Butterfree, dark mode for player's handbook, source campaign materials, or a reader mode. So I think that we're just going to end up with a dark mode across the site at some point. But that's going to be a little bit of an overhaul. We definitely hear the echoes of requests with needing and wanting a dark mode. And so it is something that will happen. It's not going to be incredibly easy and incredibly quick, but it is something that will happen over time. It's also something that might happen, piece by piece. So, as we're doing new things, we'll look at ways to incorporate dark mode potentially, and then, over time retrofit some of the rest of the platform. Nielsen MC, I love the encounter builder. I've been running 3 games and using the encounter builder to assist in running the games. Will there be a management of encounters such as compartmentalization? So I'm going to take that to mean that you are talking about bags and storage and that kind of thing. So I can tell you that we are moving into encounter tracking soon, and that as part of that, you'll be able to update hit points for player characters and the creatures in that encounter. You'll be able to eventually see treasure parcels for the different encounters. And then, as we get into inventory management, you might be able to move items from those treasure parcels onto the characters, and then that magically appear in their inventory. So yes, there are plans for that, if I am taking your meaning of compartmentalization correctly there. Hawk steak. Will homebrew vehicles become a thing? So you just said hawk steak, and my stomach, not that I would eat a hawk. Let's be clear about that. I don't know. I don't know if they're edible or not, but you said steak, and it's after my lunchtime. And so I appreciate that your username, generated a biological response from me. Will homebrew vehicles become a thing? They've seemed to be a focus of the last 2 adventures, Ghost of Saltmarsh and Descent into Avernus. Great question. And as we are looking at potential future Wizards of the Coast products, we believe that vehicles will continue to be something that we will see. And we do want to provide a way to homebrew them. We would love to be able to see vehicle rules and standards settle a bit before we hit the wrong target with vehicles. So that's kind of where we are currently, but it is definitely something that we're going to provide in the future. Rugar, will you be fixing the PDF export in regards to the action box on the first page cutting off text when there are too many actions? Not sure whether we're aware of that one or not, but we certainly can look into it and take the note there. Slotheno, will there be a privacy setting for character sheets and campaigns to be hidden from other players, but still accessible to anyone with a link? That's an interesting one. We'll look into it. Yada what? I am from Turkey and our currency, Turkish lira, is really weak against the US dollar. Do you plan anything like creating payment plans for other countries? At this point in time, we do not have plans to do so, but we will certainly continue to look at demand and see where we go from there. Lifebound, some of the Trello board has checklist items on the entries. Can we get this for more of them? I don't know. You'll have to ask the product managers out here, because if you have checklists on any of those, that's because our new PMs are starting to do that. And I was not even aware that they were doing that. And I'm going to have to go look now and just make sure that, you know, we're not revealing too much, and definitely we're not revealing dates or any kind of impression of dates. So that's important. But yeah, we'll talk to the product managers and see if you find that helpful. We'll definitely take it into consideration. Jeffrey STG, Encounter Builder, are there plans to add NPCs, hit points, and statuses to make it easier to track through the encounter? That's definitely next step. Archeantis 7, which D&D setting would make the best TV series? That's interesting. Definitely could say Dragonlance would be good, especially if you had an Amazon or somebody like that with some money to produce it. Eberron would certainly make a good TV series. You could have your case of the week or whatever there. So yeah, I'll go with those two. I could find an angle for all of the settings though. Jay Stillfeather, when will we have full access to companions from level 1 to 20, since they're currently limited to 6th level? So actually, if you have the additional adventures for Dragon of Icespire Peak, they I think they go up to 11 or 12, and we will have a full solution for 1 through 20 once Wizards of the Coast provides that. So that's another thing that I'll certainly say here. So I'm going to do one more question, and then I have one other little segue thing that we want to do before we finish up for today. But General Temujin, will there be a way to see the desktop view on mobile again? I'm assuming you mean this for the website, and that is something that we'll certainly take into consideration. There are no current plans for it, but we'll take it into consideration. All right, so moving back over here, wanted to share, this is not D&D related, but I did want to just simply share, because you're going to start seeing this pop up all over the place, and I know that there will be a lot of questions about it. So I'm going to just briefly say something here today, that Fandom has acquired the Cortex role-playing system from Margaret Weiss Productions. You'll start seeing things go out about this today. We are very, very excited about this and being able to move into a system as flexible and powerful as Cortex is. And so at this point in time, there's not a lot that we can share about the plans that we have here, but you can check out cortexrpg.com, and you will get a little bit more information, and you will be able to sign up for updates, and you can read kind of the full announcement for everything going on at cortexrpg.com. We're very, very excited about what this means for the future, and we'll have a whole lot more details to come there. And you'll start to see some different social media accounts popping up, and even a different Twitch channel. And you'll be able to join me talking about Cortex over there. So we wanted to just let the community here know that this was something that is happening entirely in parallel to D&D Beyond. It's not using D&D Beyond resources or anything remotely like that. It is just something else that our company is doing that we're really, really excited about. And it's going to have its own separate teams and all of that. And we got really big plans here. Not too much more I can share at the moment. But if you're interested in role-playing in general or any other systems outside of D&D, definitely take a look at this and kind of follow along as we move forward with what's going on with Cortex. All right, I actually have one more minute. I'm going to go back to one more question. Animal DM, can you pronounce floxenosinification? Obviously, I cannot. Arg, me mateys, it's time for us to say farewell. I hope everything is smooth sailing on today, International Talk Like a Pirate Day. I hope everyone has a good one. Thanks so much. We'll see you later, Gators.